soft, ambient sound of quill on parchment, faint wind outside stone walls, to another quiet journey through forgotten corners of human history. You don't need to do anything now, except breathe slowly and let yourself drift into the past. Tonight, we're traveling to the winding, incense-scented halls of medieval Constantinople, but into the paperwork. This is the tale of a civilization built not only on marble columns and golden mosaics, but on scrolls, ledgers, tax codes, and tie-dyes. The Byzantine Empire was a world of rituals and red ink, of long titles and longer workdays, and beneath its shimmering surface lay one of the most quietly exhausting machines in history: its imperial bureaucracy. So, if you've ever felt buried under forms, or lost in a hallway of closed doors, tonight's story may feel strangely familiar. Now close your eyes, if you'd like, let the past settle around you like a wool cloak, and imagine yourself not as a warrior or a noble, but as a lowly clerk in a candlelit office of the Byzantine Empire. Segment 1. Why it sucked to be a clerk in the Byzantine chancellery. Imagine waking up in a cold room just before dawn. The air is damp with the breath of the Bosphorus, drifting in through a crack in the shutters. Your wool blanket is thin. Your joints ache from the stone floor beneath your sleeping mat. You are notarius, a junior clerk in service to the great empire of Byzantium. It is the year 1067. Begins the same way it always does. You rise, silent. There is no one to greet. You share your quarters with 3 other scribes, each already folding their bedding, eyes down. There's no idle talk here, only muttered prayers and the shuffling of sandals. You chew a piece of stale bread, perhaps a fig, if you're lucky. The bread is coarse, made of barley and grit. It sticks to your teeth. And then the day begins. You walk slowly to the Sekelion, the financial office of the capital, through narrow streets where cats stretch across marble steps, past merchants unrolling fabrics, past beggars chanting psalms for coins. Your feet ache. The sandals are worn thin. At the entrance, a guard barely glances at you. He knows your face. You are not important. Inside, the halls are dark. Tall windows let in only the pale blue light of early morning. You pass beneath golden frescoes of saints, though you've stopped noticing them. The air smells of wax, old parchment, and bodies that have been working too long without rest. You reach a desk. It is not your desk, really. Just one of many narrow wooden tables, scarred with knife marks and ink stains. On it sits your tools: a dull quill, a brass inkwell, a sheaf of scrolls, and a fresh stack of libelli tax complaints from the provinces. Work begins. One by one, you unroll the scrolls. You translate from Armenian, Syriac, sometimes even Coptic. You recopy them in High Greek. Your writing must be perfect, curved, formal, unbroken. The minuscule script is delicate and must not be rushed. You write and write and write. Hours pass unnoticed. The only sound is the soft scratching of hundreds of quills, and the occasional cough echoing in the vaulted ceiling. You pause only to sip watered wine from a chipped cup, not to enjoy it, but to keep your throat from drying out. Sometimes a superior approaches. He smells of cloves and carries a scroll with a broken seal. He points to an error in your copy. You bow. You do not speak. You begin again. By midday, your fingers are stiff, your eyes burn from squinting. But lunch is brief. Lentils, maybe onions. Then back to the desk. Always back to the desk. Afternoon brings new tasks. A tax map must be redrawn. A decree copied for the governor of Byzantine. You use a ruler made of whalebone to keep the lines straight. No one thanks you. That is not why you are here. And when, finally, the candles are lit and the bells toll, your shoulders sag with a quiet relief, but not joy. You leave as the hall's empty, carrying your tools in a linen pouch. You walk past priests in golden robes, past senators debating new edicts, past mosaics of Christ and Justinian, staring down with glassy silence. And then you return to your cold, shared room. You eat your final piece of bread. You lie down, and you sleep only to wake again, to the same rhythm, the same ink, the same quiet duty. Such was the life of a Byzantine clerk, a life of endless parchment, endless rules, and the slow, invisible labor that held an empire together. As the sun sets on this dusty hallway of ink and ledgers, let us turn now to a quieter chamber. Not the crowded clerical offices, but a room lined with books. A high window lets in the pale gold of evening. A curtain sways, and at the center sits a woman, writing in steady silence. Her name is Anna Komnene, and her story is one of brilliance, disappointment, and quiet exile, told not through battle or empire but through parchment and prose. Anna was born into privilege. In the year 1083, she entered the world within the shining walls of the imperial palace, a daughter of the emperor, Alexios I Komnene. The marble floors, the golden icons, the solemn processions of priests and scholars, these were her cradle. She was not raised for silence. She was taught philosophy, medicine, theology, history, and perhaps most dangerously, the weight of imperial ambition. As a girl, she studied under the finest minds of her day. She read Aristotle, she argued doctrine, and she listened closely as matters of state passed through her family's halls. By the time she reached adulthood, many in the court believed she might be more than just a princess. They whispered, perhaps she would rule. But the rhythms of Byzantium were rarely kind to female ambition. Her brother John, younger than she, was chosen to inherit the throne. Anna was married off. Still she remained close to power, advising, translating, writing. Some say she conspired to reclaim the succession. We may never know for sure. What we do know is that by her middle years, Anna had been removed from court life. Her brother ruled as emperor. She was sent to a convent, but Anna did not fade. In a small stone room within the Kikaratamine monastery, she picked up her pen, not to write prayers, but to write history. Over years, possibly decades, she composed the Alexiad, a long, slow chronicle of her father's reign. It is not a neutral account. It is rich with praise, heavy with politics, and sharpened by personal grief. But it is also vivid, careful, and deeply detailed. She wrote of crusaders, barbarians with iron hearts. She described sieges, treaties, betrayals, and also the strange, silent rhythm of imperial life. She described how edicts were signed, how physicians prepared herbs, how court scholars debated the shape of the soul. Her writing had the cool patience of someone who had seen too much and been allowed to say too little. In this way, Anna Komnene became one of the first true female historians of the medieval world, not by storming palaces, but by filling pages. And even now, nearly 1,000 years later, her voice remains on parchment, soft, measured, and unwavering. A woman of Byzantium who, like so many, found power in silence. As the candles flicker low in Anna's quiet study, we turn now to mysteries hidden even deeper within this imperial world.